Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Maria Furlano. Thank you for joining me today on the Art of Tuning In podcast. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for finding me. It's great to have you here. And if you've been here a while, I appreciate it very much. And I always want to give you something that you can use in this podcast, something that you can take away and apply into your life if you want to. And today is no different. Today I'm talking about manifesting. Manifesting is a huge topic. Would you agree? I mean, it's everywhere, and it's been everywhere for a long time. And I think it's great. I have no problems with it whatsoever. But I know that people can get really frustrated with hearing about manifesting and feeling like it doesn't really happen in their life. And I just wanted to touch upon a few things that might help you if you are feeling stuck in your manifesting. I started this new thing on Monday mornings on my social channels, Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And I called it Manifesting Mondays. And I come in there on Monday mornings about 10 a.m. and I tune in and have everyone align their own energy for the week ahead. And one of the things that it's reminded me about is that we can get very in our head about manifesting. This is the biggest thing. When you want to create anything in your life, you have to experience it in your body. There's thinking about something, and then there's actually creating the vibrational frequency for that to manifest, to evolve, to actually happen. This is a big thing in Eastern arts, in Eastern medicine, in medical Qigong. You have to experience what it is you're doing. You can't just, for example, read about Qigong. You have to feel it in your body. You have to do the exercises and understand that you are moving qi, moving the energy through every cell of your body. And that is a physical experience. It's also an emotional experience. What we really want to do is allow the mind to relax, allow the mind to let go. There's that saying, no mind. And it's because it's so ingrained in you that the energy is moving you, that you are moving with the energy, but you're not trying to think it through. So there's a difference when we're dealing with manifestation. And I think that a lot of people are really just trying to be too mental about it. And that's a lot because of our culture. So much information coming at us. We see it, we hear it. We're always learning something new. We can look up something really quickly if we want to. So everything is kind of instantaneous and it's very mental. And when we do energetic arts, and that includes manifesting is an energetic art. You want to experience the energy of that. So if that's not something that maybe you're comfortable with doing or used to doing, you want to just take your time with it because it can feel a little strange. So absolutely 100%, your thoughts move energy. The mind moves the qi. But then there is the transformation of the qi, the transformation of the energy. And that's the vibrational part that gets involved with your heart, with your heart's energy, with the emotional part of you, with the part of you that's really connected with your soul, with your spirit, with your higher self, with the spirituality that you believe in. And that transforms a vibration that allows a frequency to then begin to magnetize to you what it is you want. So you actually are changing the vibrational frequency of how your energy is around you. It's a magnetic frequency that changes, and you begin to draw to you what it is that you are really focused on. And of course, this moves into whether we're focused on things that really aren't for our best interests, really aren't what we want. It works that way too, or whether it's focused on things that we really, really do want. So there are those processes. And if you've, of course, been listening about manifestation all these years, I'm sure that you're aware of this, but you really want to tune in and get to a place of what I call and what I teach energetic neutrality. And this energetic neutrality is a space where you are fully connected to the earth and fully connected to divine or to higher consciousness. And this opens this pathway of energy through your body. You may have also heard it called a pillar of light. We in the Qigong training world call it the Taiji pole, that allows in this beautiful light that flows through our body, that's fully connected to earth, that's fully connected to higher consciousness. And this is a stream that mixes the earth energy and mixes divine energy through your body. This is a transformational, energetic, and alchemical vibration. And when you're able to tune into that, you're able to allow your mind to relax, your mind to go to that space of neutrality so that it's not trying to push the thoughts or it's not trying to resist, which is really what we're trying to not have happen when we want to create something. We can have a lot of resistance come up, and a lot of it is subconscious. Sometimes it's conscious too. Their fears come up, their hesitations that come up. Maybe it's just a personality that we're used to having, being in control. But when we're trying to change a vibration, when we're wanting to create something new, we have to have the open space for that vibration to flow through so it can transform into the new that we don't even know what it's going to be yet, because we are opening ourselves to allow a higher vibration, a higher frequency, a space of evolution with what it is that we want into the highest form we can possibly imagine. And that is going to take some transformation. It's going to take some shift in vibration. So when we allow for this energetic neutrality, when we really learn how to connect into the earth, when we really learn how to connect into a higher consciousness, and we're able to bring this divine pathway through us, then we're able to actually embody the frequency that creates the manifesting change. And I think a lot of people become very frustrated because they are thinking mentally about all the steps that they're supposed to do, when this is a very physical, emotional, energetic process. And it can take some time. And this is where I think people are really getting frustrated. When you start training your system, when you start training your physical body to actually learn how to relax, how to connect, how to expand, and you're able to dissolve the blockages that are in your system, that are in your mental well-being, that are causing resistance. This takes some time. And if you're not taking the time to learn how to really tune into yourself and to take the time to connect and then allow the frequency to change so that you can begin to manifest, people begin to get very frustrated with the process. Now, that kind of sounded like a long process, and it's not once you get used to doing it. But if someone is not used to tuning into themselves, then it takes a little time to do that. But that's where we gain the no mind, and that's where we gain the ability to be able to move into that space of energetic neutrality and allow a true transformation of energy to move through us. And then it becomes more and more effortless because we are truly so powerful that we block our own manifestations. So I really want you to think about this, because this is something that I learned a long time ago, and it made so much sense to me. It kind of changed everything. And so I'm hoping maybe it'll open something up in you too. We have so much power over our own frequency, over our own vibration, over our own thoughts, over how we use our energy, over what we are attracting into our life. We have so much power, so much internal power and empowerment, that we also use that same power to actually block what it is that we really, really want. And we do this on all kinds of levels. Like I said, sometimes it's totally subconscious. Sometimes it's conscious. And sometimes we have to peel away some layers to figure out what the heck's going on here. And when I really want this one thing, but I continue to go in this other direction, or I continue to sabotage myself, or I just can't seem to stay focused, what is happening? Sometimes we just have to get to the heart of that and then just dissolve it and let it go, and then allow a new direction to come forward. But it's important to really understand that sometimes the reason why you're not manifesting something is because you're actually using all your power to actually block it. And I think that's amazing, because we can get into a habit where we think that we're failing, or we think that we just can't do something. When you begin to understand and look at it from the viewpoint of, no, you have tremendous power, but your power is actually blocking you from doing that thing that you so much want. And if we can get to the heart of why that's happening and let that go, then your full power can go towards manifesting what it is that you really want. So I hope that that makes sense. It really made for me a huge difference in how I felt about what I was doing. And when I realized that I was actually blocking with the same power that I could use to manifest, but I was actually blocking the manifestation, it made me not feel anymore as though I was failing, but it made me realize how much power we have. And it's just a redirection and a re-understanding of that, and then a re-embodiment of it. So just to recap for today, when we want to create something in our life, it is not a head process. It is not a mental process. We may use the mental process to figure out what it is we do want, but then we must connect it into our hearts and create a new vibration. So again, anchoring into the earth, expanding, elevating into a higher consciousness, and then allowing that energy, that high vibration of the earth and the high vibration of a higher consciousness to flow through us as we are able to connect into our heart center and into the actual physical body that we carry, with the cells that are constantly speaking to the world, it's speaking to our energy, speaking to us. When we're able to connect into that, then we're able to change the frequency of the energetic vibration that we carry around with us, the bioelectrical frequency that surrounds our body, the bioelectrical frequency that is emitted from us all the time. And when we change that frequency, we actually now are moving with our new vibration. We're moving with our manifestation, and we move through life as that frequency. And when you move through life as that frequency, then you automatically draw to you what it is that you are sending out, whatever your frequency is sending out. So if you're angry, then you're going to attract anger to you. You're going to attract situations that either cause you to be more angry, or other people who are angry at you, and that excites the anger and allows that to be stronger. If you are very peaceful and you are flowing and easy breezy, you're going to move effortlessly into situations like that. And people who are easy breezy or wanting to experience that are going to be more drawn towards you. We're all magnets, and we get drawn towards each other or we get repelled from each other. And that's what we want when we are creating, when we are manifesting, when we are shifting our frequency into a vibration that draws to us more of that. So what happens a lot of times is people will begin to do this, and they will begin to feel a shift in their body. They'll feel more aligned, and therefore whenever we feel more aligned, we feel more powerful. The two go together, and we have more empowerment over our life. For some people, that can start to feel a little scary because they're not used to that kind of feeling. They're not used to feeling empowered. They're not used to shining brightly. It's just a different vibration, and it has to sometimes take a little bit of getting used to. So one of the things that happens is that people will go through this process and align their energy and elevate their vibration and tune in and connect to their heart and really get it. They'll really get it. They know how to change the frequency, they know how to focus, and they know how to manifest. But then that new feeling of alignment is different. And sometimes people react to you a little bit different. And if you're very sensitive, you may pick that up. And so until you move into a new frequency where you don't care how people react to you, where you understand that this is a new frequency, where you're not trying to shift and change to make people feel better, then you're able to hold that frequency. But until you have that realization that you may be shifting and changing to make others feel better, you will probably lose that sense of alignment and empowerment. And then what happens is we start to think thoughts that go against exactly what it is that we're trying to manifest. We have fears come up. We get into conversations with people that are very low vibration, very picky, very, complaining, very fear-based. And we move into these spaces because we're used to being in those spaces, or we are used to the people in our lives and the situations in our lives and our connections in our lives that are used to having that conversation. And so it can take some time if you're really wanting to change your vibration, if you're really wanting to bring in new people in your life, if you're really wanting to bring in new experiences into your life, if you're wanting to move through your life in a more elevated and expanded frequency of joy. It may take a little while for you to see these new relationships and understand how you can maintain these relationships in an elevated way. Or are some relationships in your life going to have to dissolve, which is very normal and can be very scary for people. When they want to change things, they really don't want to let go of what's familiar to them. I certainly understand that, and I think it took me quite a while actually to be able to release just wasn't right in my life anymore and be okay with that and send love and understand that that was just what was better for me. It took me a long time to be able to do that without feeling guilty or feeling like I should explain myself. And sometimes we need permission to understand that it is okay to just let things go. And you don't have to do it in a big fight, and you don't have to create a big problem. You just do it in love. You just understand. And it's also okay to keep relationships in your life and see if you can change the frequency of how you communicate with that person and how that person communicates with you. Because we all get in ruts of ways where we speak with each other. We all get in ruts of thinking the same things and doing the same actions and having the same habits and patterns. And sometimes other people in your life also want to shift and change. I remember a few years ago, my husband and I were really looking at shifting things in our life that we didn't want anymore, and that would really help us to be better partners to each other and also to be better people in our own life and do what it is we wanted to do. And it was not smooth sailing. It was a little rocky because whenever you're trying to change stuff, it brings up a lot of stuff. And one day he sat down with me and he said, I don't want to focus anymore on the things that don't make the boat go faster. And I was like, what? That's very interesting. And he said, we're only going to focus on what will make the boat go faster. And I thought that was brilliant. It was brilliant because it was about lightening the load. Because his point was, let's focus on what is working. Let's focus on what is going to move our life forward. Let's not focus on the fears or the problems or the buts or, whatever it is that we had been focusing on. And I think a lot of people focus on because they think if they talk about the problems, then they can fix the problems. But a lot of times you get so caught up in the problem. If I put it in energetic terms, the energy becomes so dense that you can't see yourself out of the problem. You can't see your way out of the problem. And the boat stops, for example, right? It just stops dead in the water. You also can't reach out for help for the problem because you just have convinced yourself that there really is no help. And so you're in the problem instead of in the solution. Whenever you shift vibration to what is the solution? How can I be in the solution? Or, like the brilliance of my husband said, how can we make the boat go faster? It just naturally opens a space for new information to come in. Sometimes this takes time, though. Even though I thought it was brilliant when he said that, and I knew in my heart and my gut that he was right, this was the right way to focus on this, it still took a while to get out of the habit of focusing on the problem. And it was very frustrating because you could now feel yourself go into the problem when you knew, oh, there's a much better way to do this. We should focus on the solution. We should focus on making the boat go faster. And so I bring this up because we hear, like I said before, information coming at us all the time. A lot of wonderful teachers in the world who are sharing wonderful information. But if we do not learn to make it tangible in our life, practical in our life, and integrated into our physical and energetic system, then all it is mental thoughts that are going around. We can have these mental thoughts going around and it turns into the should syndrome. I did an episode a while ago, I forgot the number, but the should syndrome, I should do this, I shouldn't do this. And that is a very mental, low vibrational frequency of energy. Anytime it's I should do something and not this is the right path for me to do or this feels right for me to do, we change the way we're going to flow into whatever it is we're going to do. So when we are very mental and we haven't integrated it, we can mentally know, I would like, for example, to be able to learn to be a good manifester. I would like, for example, to really stop focusing on my problems and start focusing on the solution. And we can hear that and we can say, oh, that's brilliant. But unless we take the time to actually stop and be quiet and integrate that frequency, because a thought is a frequency, a new idea is a frequency. When we integrate that new idea of, for example, I'm going to make the boat go faster instead of focusing on my problems, making the boat go faster is a brand new frequency, was a brand new frequency for me at that time. What does that frequency feel like to me? What does that actually mean in my body? What would that translate? How would my cells move differently? How would my energy feel? What would I have to release in myself in order to let down my guard and my old habits to allow myself to think in a new way for the boat to go faster, for me to be able to bring ideas to the table and the conversation of our relationship or things that we wanted to create in the solutional solving area? How would I have to shift my vibration to do that? That takes a little time, and it takes sometimes help from somebody else to help us move through those things. But ultimately, it takes time spending time with ourselves, experiencing what that new frequency would be like for you. And so I say this because I know a lot of people are very frustrated. I know that when we are experiencing difficulty in our life, it is so easy to just continue down that rabbit hole of difficulty because it's very real and tangible and in front of us, and we're tired and we're emotional and we're used to being in the same pathway. And that's really what I'm trying to express here, that we are used to moving in a vibration that we have become accustomed to. We have, the same habits. Habits are a vibration. We have the same thought patterns. Thought patterns are a vibration. We eat the same foods. Foods are a vibration. How they nourish our body, how they hinder our body, right? Everything is a vibration. Everything is a frequency. But it's not outside of ourselves. It's inside of ourselves. And in a world right now where, like I said, everything is coming at us and we're looking at everything outside of ourselves, and a lot of people are feeling very disempowered. The more we look outside of ourselves, the more disempowered we're going to be. And that's really my point today. Please don't get frustrated because things aren't changing fast enough. Because when you're looking outside of yourself for something to change, it can't reach you because your frequency is not aligned to that. So it's always the internal work that we need to do. It's always connecting with our heart. It's always connecting with a higher vibration that allows us to transform and alchemize the energy. So please be patient with yourself. I hope that that gives you something to play with, grounding into the earth, aligning and expanding into a higher consciousness, allowing a stream of energy to flow through you and to feel your body, to feel the cells, to really feel the changes you'd like to create. This is why I started to do Manifesting Mondays on Monday mornings on Instagram and Facebook and on YouTube, because we need help with each other. We need reminders. And, we need to actually do this daily to tune in and guide ourselves. And sometimes it's just too hard to quiet our mind. And so if we can watch somebody else and be reminded in little things that somebody else says, if that can help us get in tune with ourselves, those short bursts that we do that create tremendous shifts. You always hear me say that it's about the short bursts, and it really, really is. When we give exercises to people who are not well in Qigong, we will ask them to do a certain exercise several times a day, sometimes up to 6 times a day. Now, that doesn't mean that that is an hours-long exercise, but it can be short, but it's about the consistency of moving the energy throughout the day that creates the vibrational healing and the change in the body from anything that's stuck and congested and needing to be nourished and needing to be cultivated or strengthened. You can't just do that once. When you create a stream, an energy stream, that energy stream builds momentum. And doing it once is usually not enough. In our culture, we're also all about instant gratification and things coming very quickly. When we talk about frequency and we talk about holding a frequency, especially in a world where there is so much around us that may be contradictory to that frequency that we're trying to hold, it's going to take small bursts throughout your day, often, like maybe every 2 hours, maybe every hour in the beginning, to keep yourself in alignment with a new frequency that you want to be in. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. This is very common. People think, if I have to do that, then I must be really behind. No, that's the thing, is the practice of energetic alignment, the practice of being in tune with yourself, right? The art of tuning in is about creating the consistency of alignment throughout your body. And that takes consistency, right? It takes small bursts throughout your day, throughout your evening. I say throughout your evening just because I know a lot of people are having sleeping issues and they're not sleeping. And when you get up at night, this is where you retune your vibration. You get up, you walk around, and you move into alignment, and you allow yourself to let go of your worries and anxieties, and you tune into a higher frequency so that now you are moving in that higher frequency, and the fears in your body and your emotions are not taking over you. And that's where you move into a state of empowerment. Never, ever feel like if you need to stop and tune in several times, never feel like that is a weakness. That is actually a tremendous skill. And if we all were doing that, we shift the entire vibration of the planet. And that's the thing about this work. That's the thing about energetically tuning in and learning to align yourself and learning to clear your own blocks, is that you absolutely, each of us raises the vibration of the planet when we raise the vibration of ourselves. And that is the entire point of why I teach this, of why I share this, of why I know it's so important, because we're all connected and we all contribute to each other's energy and to the energy of the planet. And when we take control of our own energy, now we've empowered ourselves, we've empowered the energy of the planet, and we're actually able to hold ourselves to a high standard because we've now taken responsibility for who we are. If you want to join me, I'm on Monday mornings on Instagram at Maria_Furlano. And I'm usually starting about 10 a.m., but I'm also putting these up on my YouTube channel, Maria Furlano, and on Facebook, The Art of Tuning In on Facebook. So you can catch them all there, and please use them. Use the time to just tune in, to reset your energy all throughout the week, whenever you want to. I really want to make these available just for people to be able to do something quickly and to be reminded that they have empowerment over their energy and to not be swept up by everything that's going on, because we all need to support each other. You know, I have my own friends who I reach out to who remind me to get my act together and get myself in alignment, and there is a different choice. And I hope you also have those people in your life. And if you don't right now, know that you can manifest those people in your life and utilize the positivity that is out there on social media and on the internet in general. Utilize positive teachers and get that frequency into your life as often as you can, and your life will change and your frequency will elevate just by incorporating these new things. And just to leave you with today, make sure you make it a fully integrated process, not mental, but fully integrated into your system, your physical system as well. Have a wonderful week. I will see you next week, and thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to learn more and elevate your energetic well-being, I invite you to visit theartoftuningin.com, where you can learn all about our online studio. I look forward to meeting you there.